Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming at you guys with The Brave, Season 1, Episode 4 review. So first off, I just want to apologize for this one being so late. The episode was on Monday night, and it's Friday now. So yeah, I do really apologize for that. I've been trying to get these out on time, but maybe some of you've seen recently that, it hasn't happened. So, yeah, I've just been really busy lately. That's I guess what I gotta say. But I'm gonna try to get these out on time from now on. I do have The Walking Dead coming up on Sunday, and I'm gonna definitely do a review for that. And I'm also going to do a video on Saturday as well, I think, for The Walking Dead. So look out for that as well. And yeah, that's really all I got. Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep getting these out on time. This one is going to be on a Wednesday, if it is on the schedule usually. It will be a Wednesday because Walking Dead's Monday, The Deuce is then Tuesday, which is already delayed. So then that means that this is delayed as well. So yeah, that's sort of where I'm at with the schedule wise. And SEAL Team is sort of a Thursday, Friday sort of thing there. Maybe even a Saturday sometimes. So yeah. Right now I'm just a little busy, maybe, taking on a little bit too much for personally, for me. But The Deuce is going to be ending in 2 weeks anyway, so then that'll be done, so then this I'll be able to get it earlier. So yeah, anyways, it should all fix itself soon, but in the next 2 weeks or so, these videos might be a little late. But yeah, I find that a lot of people these days are recording the episodes anyways, and they watch them, the next day or a couple days later. So I don't think it's exactly, the same as what it used to be with people, they watched it live and then, they're the night of wanting to see reviews and, reactions to it and stuff. So I think that's a little bit different now. And, hopefully my channel kind of fits with that. So, yeah. Also, I just want to thank you guys so much for the support recently. It's just been awesome. Subscribers, views, even like the shares, just really appreciate it. So I just want to come out and say that. But anyways, let's get to The Brave, episode 4 of season 1. Yeah, this one really blew me away, honestly. Last week, I was like, okay, this is kind of getting a little bit repetitive. You know what I mean? Episode 2 and that, okay, last week was a little bit different, right, than the first 2 episodes, but it was still kind of a little generic. But this one really blew it out of the water. I thought this was just as good as the pilot, probably even better. And I really liked the pilot, and that's what, kind of got me into this show. Yeah, so I thought this episode was great. Definitely, probably the best of the season so far, for my liking, personally. So, anyways, quick recap, of course, and then rating, thoughts, favorite character, stuff like that at the end. So, let's get into this episode here. So, the mission this week, we're doing a mission a week. So, the mission this week is to get this Taliban member to tell them information about a bombing of an important U.S. building. That they know about, but they don't know, which building it is. So he's being kept in a prison called Helmond prison. I don't think we're actually given a location, but I think they talk about Afghanistan. So that's, I guess, where the Taliban is kind of centered, right? So I would think it's in Afghanistan. I'm not sure if Helmand prison is actually a real place or they made it up. I'm not sure. But yeah, basically it's a prison for Taliban members. I think it's like the Taliban exclusively in the prison. I don't think there's anyone else. So obviously, that's very interesting as well, right? So they kind of all are together there in the prison. And also we see at the beginning there that it's in the middle of a desert, right? There's nothing around it for miles. And, yeah, so not much, not easy to get help, right? And we see that, of course. So, yeah, nothing nearby. And then Patricia, so this is kind of the big part of the episode. So Patricia is actually brought in to interrogate the man. And yeah, so she's out in the field finally. She's kind of, stepped out from her command job there. And now she's in the field helping out the team. So definitely different to see her, right? And what she's wearing the whole episode. She just looks so out of place. It's kind of funny. But yeah, so that's kind of the main story. So she's there to interrogate this guy so they can get information. But of course, things happen. So anyways, then we see back at the DIA, Noah and Hannah are in charge of things when Patricia is gone. And specifically, Noah takes the responsibilities of Patricia. So he basically, is the boss of everyone there now. And the joke about his jacket with Hannah, that was really funny. Like the tag, I think she said the tag's still on your jacket or something like that. And they came back to it multiple times, which I thought was pretty funny. Probably one of the best, comedic moments there in the episode. Yeah. Really nice to see the dynamic between these two characters, really. I mean, Hannah and Noah, we've already seen quite a bit of them, and Patricia, for that matter, from the DIA. And I'm kind of asking, are they going to be together in the future? Is that sort of what they're building to? I think so, a little bit, right? I think that they're kind of bonding a little bit now, and because of this, this really brings them closer together. So maybe that's what they're kind of hinting at. We'll have to see. Obviously, there's got to be some romance on the show, so some people think Jazz and Dalton are going to be together, including me. I think that, that's definitely a possibility. But I think Noah and Hannah would be definitely a good combination there. Both of them are just great characters, and yeah, it's really great to watch the dynamic between them, between the two, kind of jarring at each other and making jokes, and but really, and also being really serious and helping each other too. So, yeah, definitely a really good dynamic there. Two great characters that aren't even part of the main team, but they're almost just as important there at the DIA back in the office, right? So, I really like the two ways of this show. So yeah, basically the mission goes off the rails. It sounded too simple. When the one prisoner drinks the gasoline in the water bottle he was given from like one of the other guards who ended up being in on it, and he actually helped the prisoners. And yeah, this was an amazing scene. I mean, he drinks the gasoline out of the water bottle and he spits it on the guard, and then lights a match and throws it at him and lights the guard on fire. So I don't know if this is like, I would think that would work. I'm not sure, but it does kind of seem a little bit, a little bit of a stretch, but definitely a cool scene. I thought that was one of the coolest things on the show so far, right? It was pretty smart, too. Pretty good plan. Because I just thought it was water, right? We all thought it was water, but it ended up being gasoline. So, yeah, definitely dangerous though as well, right? To drink the gasoline if you swallowed it. So then this prisoner then leads the revolt basically and gets all the prisoners to rebel against the guards and try to escape the place. So yeah, that's basically what happens there. But meanwhile, Dalton, McGuire, and Patricia and the informant are all stuck inside the prison, and Preach, Amir, and Jazz are all outside. So yeah, definitely, team split up. Dalton and McGuire and Patricia are trapped inside, and they can't get out because they're interrogating this informant. So at this point, hell breaks loose in the prison. All these prisoners are, getting weapons, killing all these guards, and yeah, Dalton and McGuire and Patricia are locked in. So basically, and then it gets even worse, right? Because Preach and Amir then are able to lock down the front gate, which is the only exit from the prison, right? They're keeping, it was to keep the prisoners in, but also to keep Dalton and the others in as well, right? So, yeah, kind of a risk thing there. But at least, they kept all these, Taliban prisoners out of the desert, right? They kept them inside the prison. So yeah, basically a manhunt then starts for the Americans among the Taliban, soldiers or the prisoners. And yeah, basically they'll do anything to escape from the prison. They want to find these Americans and, I guess kill them or kind of use them as hostages to, get them to open up the gate so they can get out of there. So just turns into a really crazy situation, and I really liked it. This was just what made so much, suspense now in the episode, and yeah, I just really thought that this was an interesting mission, and for this to happen, it was really kind of cool. So yeah, basically then we learned that a Taliban convoy, so like multiple trucks and jeeps and whatever are on their way to basically help the prisoners out of the prison, and then they will get back, but yeah, sorry, and then they can drive off and get wherever they're going. But the thing is that the convoy will actually get there before any military personnel can, and that includes any missile attacks or drones, because that's just how it is. The team that dropped them off there was actually killed coming on the way back by this Taliban convoy, so they weren't available, and no other personnel was in range to be there fast enough. So this Taliban convoy or army or whatever was gonna get there before anyone else could. So basically, the team has to devise a plan to get out of there before the convoy comes and things get real ugly, right? They probably all die. Or, they probably get, their heads, chopped off, in some video or something like that. I think that was a line by Preacher or maybe McGuire or something like that. I don't know. One of them said that. But yeah, really, really good scene then coming when they kind of devised this plan. So basically, Jazz, pushes this guard towards Dalton by firing at his feet and making him run the other way. That was a really cool scene. So yeah, basically the guard then tells Dalton about a new part of the prison where they could blow through the wall with an explosive, because the other parts are like too thick, right? So an explosive wouldn't work on that. So they're able to go there in the room, and Preacher's able to then plant the explosive from the outside. So they're still on the outside of the prison, right? So he's able to plant the explosive on the outside on the wall, and it works. So, pretty lucky. It actually makes a pretty good sized hole in the wall there, and they're able to get out and get to safety, but not for long, right? Because they get out just as the Taliban convoy drives up to the prison, and they all get in as fast as they can. Now they still have this informant man, who's now very wounded, I guess fatally wounded, really, because he could die from it, but he hasn't yet. But yeah, really, really hurt, and he can barely walk, barely move, really. So, and he's screaming and all that in pain. So, yeah, definitely a tough situation. So they finally get him in there, and they have McGuire in the back trying to help him out, and they speed away. But yeah, so this is kind of where the climax is of the episode, and yeah, basically they're followed by some of the convoy. Luckily, not the whole part of it, not the whole thing. Only a couple of vehicles, but yeah, things go wrong. This guy, has a missile launcher or something like that, and he takes the Jeep out or whatever, or the Humvee, so they can't, so it doesn't work anymore. They can't drive, so they're forced to get out on foot. A very suspenseful scene here. I thought it was a really, really cool, like old-fashioned gunfight sort of thing, right? Man versus man, right? They were just obviously with machine guns and all that, but yeah, they were kind of hiding behind the Humvee, firing a couple shots, coming back, doing this, doing that. So I thought it was a really suspenseful scene, really entertaining, really cool. Honestly, I thought the way they shot it was cool too, where they showed bird's eye view of it as well with the fight going on. So that was good. And yeah, so then finally the fight lasts a couple minutes. And then finally, the DIA is able to get a missile launch from a drone overhead. Finally the drone comes in. And yeah, Patricia basically uses this opportunity as, one last tactic on the man to get this information out of him, which is really the main mission. But now the mission has become, get out of there alive, right? And yeah, it ends up working. The drone attack is going to, come in 20 seconds, and they got to get out of there. So she says she will die with him there and leave him there, when this drone comes, and they're going to get blown up with it if he doesn't tell her where it is. So, it ends up working on him. He values his life, and he tells her the location of the bombing, and they find, last second, they all run away from the blast radius as fast as they can. And then we get that, suspenseful scene there for a few seconds where Noah, kind of asks them, Dalton, update, he kind of panicking a little bit. Him and Hannah aren't, totally sure what's happening. And then, of course, and that's the thing with these shows, that they're fine, that they're okay, right? But yeah, definitely, just a little bit of suspense there they add. But yeah, they survive it, and everybody, kind of rejoices. and it's another successful mission. So, yeah, the prison wasn't their responsibility, so they end up leaving the prison, and then, they kind of leave it so that the U.S., forces will come in and secure the prison then and fight them, and that, wasn't really their job. Their job is, just to get this information out of the guy. So, yeah, so it was a success in that standpoint, but yes, yeah, the prison still has to be taken care of, but, that's not really their worry. So, yeah, definitely a successful mission. They get the information, they get back to the DIA, and Noah is able to, let the right people know. So yeah, and then the ending scene, really great. I really, like I said last week as well, I really like these ending scenes. I feel like they're great, just a nice, family feel to them, nice, warm moment in what's, really action-packed, kind of dark, episodes, right? Yeah, I really like them. I really like the ending. So Dalton and Patricia, have a great moment at the end, talking about her son, and, Dalton compliments her, as a single mother raising, a son like that. So, yeah, and a really, great look into her past, too. Learned some stuff about her son, how he was a soldier and, really intelligent, Dalton says. So, yeah, that was just a nice scene to see. And then also Noah and Hannah, right, sharing a moment of sort of relief, when Preach, comes back on the radio and says they made it. And yeah, just believe that they were able to pull it off together. Great team effort between those two, right? Really great. And, Noah in particular, I guess, for leading it, right? That he was able to do it. So, yeah, really great ending there. And also, the music at the end of the episode was really great as well. I actually know that song from another show, but yeah, it was great. Suits, it's the other show, but yeah, when you watch enough TV shows, you hear the same songs again. So, but yeah, that was a great song at the end. I thought it was really, really great for what was happening in the scene there with Dalton and Patricia. And yeah, I think it just adds to it, really, great way to kind of fade out of the show. So anyways, yep, that is the recap. I, realize it's very condensed. A lot of stuff happened in the prison there that was very entertaining. It's just hard to put in, to kind of words and describe that in a sort of recap format. So, yeah, and obviously if you're watching this, you watch the episode. So, that's that. Now I'll get to my rating, favorite character, and some overall thoughts. So, in terms of a rating for this episode, I'm going to give it a 4.7 out of 5. So, this is the same rating I gave the pilot. I honestly like this better than the pilot, but I just didn't think it was, I didn't think it was okay to give it a 4.8. I don't know. I didn't think it was quite at that level, but I did enjoy it more than the pilot, to be honest. So maybe like a 4.75 or something. I don't know. See, that's when it just kind of starts getting ridiculous. But yeah. So yeah, really good episode, right? 4.7 out of 5 is a very good rating. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So some of the main things here: great background of Patricia and her son, right? Or I guess slash her son, right? Because it wasn't really that much about her; it was about her son. And yeah, just a great moment there at the beginning where she's kind of, spreading his ashes in the desert there. That was really, nice to see. Kind of a heartfelt moment there to begin the episode. And the scene at the end, too, where we learn a little bit more about, how he was a soldier and, how he's a great man, too, like Dalton said. So, yeah, I thought that was great. I'd like to see maybe even a scene. Maybe, I know it's dark, but I'd like to maybe even see a scene where he actually died or his death, or how, maybe, a day after, how Dalton's coping or something, maybe a flashback of some sort. I really like to see that, to see, exactly what happened to him. I honestly, I doubt that we were going to see something like that, but it'd be nice. I'd really be impressed if we were able to see something like that. Yeah, I thought it was a great show of well, I shouldn't say show, like a great representation, I guess, of diversity for Dalton in this episode. I mean, in the first 3, he's kind of become unharmed. He's kind of, the Superman, he's kind of, no one can do anything to him. He's untouchable. But this episode, definitely different, right? He actually got shot, by the Taliban guy. And, knocked back. He was actually, out for a bit. And then he also had, the prisoners chase him down there. And that was, very close to death there, where he electrocuted the water. Yeah, just really, great diversity for him. And I felt like there's a lot of focus on him individually in this episode as well, more than the first three. And I like that. I felt like that's needed, main characters. Okay, yeah, he's experienced. He knows what he's doing. He's a pretty big, guy. He's a good, soldier, right? But there are those times where even if you're that good, something's gonna happen to you, like getting shot out of nowhere by, the prisoner. He had no idea was there. That's gonna happen. And I thought it was just great that they actually showed that this episode and kind of gave him a little bit more of a challenge as well. With him finding that room, there was nothing there. There was no loading dock anymore. So yeah, just putting some challenges in there for him is more realistic, I think, and I think that was more effective in this episode than the others. Very interesting mission. This episode I thought new and original. Right? This is great. Episode 1 and 2, you're kind of, saving the damsel in distress, I would say, which is, not true, right? The one was an agent, I guess, but the one was a hostage, right? A hostage situation. But this, it's a prison break, with Taliban members. Like, I don't know. I just thought it was a really interesting idea, new and original, right? Never seen that, really, on TV or movies. Yeah, and I thought it was great. I thought it was a good way to switch things up. Because, like I said, this one was already getting a little repetitive, and they really switched things up and impressed me this episode, I have to say. Yeah, couple negatives here. The prisoner being an American white man, I don't know. I don't know. And he was supposed to be like kind of a high-ranking Taliban member that he knew where this bombing was going to be. I don't know. It just seems a little unrealistic, right? He would have had to really convert over and, really convince, I guess, the Taliban that he was with them, and I don't know. I don't think that's, pretty, I don't know. I think that's a little too far-fetched, but but he did speak Arabic or a different language at least, in the episode. So I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Could be a negative, could be, just I saw that and I like to point it out sort of thing, right? Yeah, good comedy in this one. Sorry, this is another positive, but yeah, good comedy again, right? It wasn't great this episode. I think last episode was a little bit better. But yeah, the joke with Noah and Hannah there back at DIA. There was jokes throughout with McGuire. He's a pretty funny guy, actually. I think the actor that plays him would actually, he's either been a comedian before or he'd be, good as a comedian in the future, or in a comedic role, because he is kind of, he is funny. He, his delivery of the lines is also, really good, adds to it. So, yeah, good comedy throughout there in this episode. And yeah, this was the other negative, that I wanted to say. Didn't see as much from other team members this episode. It was honestly Dalton. Yeah, he's the main character. I get it, right? He gets, the most screen time. But Patricia and Dalton really got the most time. McGuire, yeah, he was with them. And Preach, Amir, and Jazz. Jazz had one scene, and it was maybe like 2 minutes where she was up in that tower, right, sniping, the prisoners. So, I don't know. And Amir, he had really nothing. He didn't really do much of anything. And last episode, he had a big role with the motorcycle at the end, So, yeah, I don't know. I would, this show's kind of centered around this 5-man team, or, 1 woman. So, 4 men, 1 woman team, and this episode, I felt like we only saw, maybe 1, maybe 2 of them, right? So, yeah, I don't know. It's a negative, but I get it, right? I wasn't, I didn't have a problem with it. It's not like it was entertaining because I didn't see all 5 of them for equal time. No. But I do like the whole, kind of family togetherness of the show as well, with them working together. So I just missed that this episode. But yeah, nothing too big. Yeah, so favorite character for this one is going to be Noah Morgenthau. And he's actually played by Tate Ellington. I feel like I recognize the name. I should really, search this up a little bit. But yeah, I feel like I recognize the name. I kind of recognize him from maybe something. I'm not totally sure. But I think he's been around a little bit. But yeah, he's doing a great job with Noah. He was really great this episode. I felt like the spotlight was really on him. And honestly, as an actor, I don't know. I thought he was really good. Even that scene where, he didn't know what was happening, the suspense right before Preach said, okay, we're fine. That was good acting. I felt like it was a real situation, and he was, about to cry, right? Or he was a little bit. He had tears. So yeah, I thought it was great acting from him in this episode. I felt like they should really give him more screen time than he gets, because I think he's funny, you know. He's serious when he has to be, you know, emotional like this episode. So yeah, I mean, great leadership qualities this episode too, getting it done, right? Getting the mission done and getting them home safe. So yeah, really great thing to see there from Noah and the actor Tate Ellington. I think he's doing a great job, and I would really like to see more of him and Hannah. To be honest, I'd love to see more of that relationship maybe form. Maybe even, since Patricia's gone out in the field, may even put one of them out in the field, see what, yeah, just maybe just for comedic purposes, but, yeah, anyways, so, yeah, that's just about it. That just about wraps up the video for today. Apologize for this one being a little bit long, it might be, yeah, I am sorry for that, but, you know, once I get talking, so, anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, and, like I said at the beginning, but thank you so much for the support recently. Really appreciate it. I think we're up to something crazy, like 6,500 views or something on the channel, and it's been growing so fast. So yeah, really, you know, really thank you guys. Really appreciate it. And yeah, so I think that that's basically it. So I'll try to get this video up tomorrow, next week, on the right day, Wednesday or Thursday, one of those two. I'm gonna hold myself to it, and I'm going to try. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching once again, and I'll see you next week on Wednesday or Thursday. No promises, but yeah, next week for The Brave, Season 1, Episode 5.
You can't take me down. You can't break me down. You can't take me down.